Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wrestling Delorean Podcast. I'm your host, Mike De Niro. Today, I got a tag team partner from the Dirty Heelz Podcast. I'm here with Kofi Wheatston, but we got a very special guest in the building tonight. We got the Harbinger of Truth, Black Dynamite, my man, Jeremy Prophet. What's good?
Oh, it is so good to be here with you guys. I got to say, that is one badass intro that you got there.
Thank you.
I don't know who put that together, but that is someone with an immense amount of talent. I tell you, it's got me pumped for this episode. I want to come in here. I want to bring all kinds of excitement. I want to bring all kinds of fanfare, more fanfare than the Queen's funeral. You know, God rest the Queen. God save the Queen. But the King of Canada is here with you. So I'm glad to be sharing the screen with you guys, my two fellow podcast brothers. And yeah, looking forward to having a good time.
Most definitely.
Definitely. Glad to have you. Glad to have you, man. You already know who it is, man. Kofi, man. Let's jump right into this, man.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and jump right into this. For the fans and all that, for our fans and everybody who don't really know, who might not know Jeremy Prophet like we do, let everybody know how we got started. How did Jeremy Prophet fall in love with wrestling?
Well, I first saw professional wrestling. I was about 5 years old. Saw a match between Bret the Hitman Hart and Blake Beverly. And I always say it, had it been maybe two other guys that weren't as good as Bret, then, hey, maybe I wouldn't have been a wrestling fan. We wouldn't be here sharing this great sport that unifies all of us. But I saw it, loved it, kept watching every week. And I just knew in my heart that this is what I want to do. I figured, hey, this is a job. These guys make their living doing this. These are grown ass men doing it. So I can do it too. I just got to find a place and learn how to do it. And I think I could be pretty good at it. I was already a really good athlete, did a lot of sports in my life since an early age. So like I was 5 years old when I started playing baseball, 6 years old when I started playing hockey. I did track and field. I did a lot of sports. I've been an athlete my whole life. That's why a lot of the stuff you see me do in the ring, it just kind of comes to me naturally because I've always been involved in athletics. So I found Jacques Rougeau's wrestling school. I was originally going to go out to Calgary because I figured that the Hart Dungeon was the only place I could get trained because that's the only place I saw on TV, the Harts in Calgary. So I was ready to move out to Calgary. And then I found out that Jacques had his wrestling school in Montreal. And so I said, okay, well, Jacques is a legend. He's a former Intercontinental champion, tag team champion. Actually had the chance to see Jacques wrestle live quite a few times at the events that we'd have here at the Bell Center and originally actually at the Montreal Forum, which is where the Canadians used to play. And so I said, okay, Jacques legit. I'll go there. I did my first tryout there because it was a buddy of mine who had already been training with him for a couple of years and just went in, did my first tryout. They said I was a natural. And the rest, as they say, is history.
That's awesome, man. So you always knew like this was like your first choice. You wanted to be a wrestler. Like you had
It was first and only choice. Like I've not wanted to do anything else in my life. I want to earn my living. I want to support my lifestyle, however you want to call it, put food on my table through professional wrestling. There's nothing else that I want to do. I don't want to get in wrestling just to get out of wrestling and, use it as a stepping stone to go on to Hollywood or to go on to, anything else. I want professional wrestling. That's what I want to do. Anything else is secondary to that. But it's like I said in one of my promos with Wrestling Academy, my roots are all in professional wrestling. It's not like, okay, I'm kind of 80% in wrestling and then in another thing. And, maybe if another opportunity presents itself, it's no, I'm 100% professional wrestling through and through, till the day I die.
How was that conversation with family, letting them know that you don't want to be a doctor, you don't want to be a teacher, you want to be a wrestler?
Yeah, it's I've been fortunate to have been blessed with parents who always allowed me to choose my own destiny. They supported me in everything that I'd want to do. And, maybe it's because I'm the youngest out of everyone. And I come from a very unique family. I never really got the chance to talk about that in any interviews, but I'm my parents' only child. But if we add up both sides and what they have from their previous marriages, I have technically 6 half siblings. Wow. So I guess they had a chance to raise the other kids and maybe, learned along the way that you can't try to pigeonhole them. You can't try to send them down a path they don't want to go down. So, professional wrestling is something that I chose. I always use the example. Like I said, I played a lot of sports. I was a damn good baseball player. I tell you, if I had the passion for baseball that I do for professional wrestling, I'd be, probably a couple of years away from getting a Hall of Fame ring, probably broke a couple of records, probably won a few pennants and a few World Series.
What position?
That's how good I was at baseball. And,
what position would it be?
Yeah.
What position? I would have been. I excelled at left field. That was where they put me. I was a left fielder, but I had many offensive talents. I had unbelievable on base percentage. We're talking like in excess of 80% on base percentage. I had. I to strike me out was near impossible. That was one of my super abilities in baseball.
Yeah.
Was I could play a 40-game season, which is what we played, up to the junior level, but a 40-game season and have maybe 3 strikeouts on the season. Just nobody was striking me out. To me, it was like a shame. It was like a dishonor. It's like I got to go all hiri-kiri and put the sword through my heart if I get struck out because, I didn't want to face my father having struck out because it was such a shame and a dishonor. So I had single-digit strikeouts on the season. I think a bad season for me was maybe 7 strikeouts in a season. No word of a lie. So I was a menace at the plate. I was fast. I always say I'm the fastest person I know. I've never lost a race in my life, which is why I was good at track and field. Wanted to actually become the world's fastest man, wanted to win the 100 meters, win the gold for Canada. That I was pretty passionate about. But believe me, the politics in track and field in Canada, extremely, extremely difficult to navigate. Worse than wrestling. But I won all my races and stuff and barely had any training. It was just on brute talent. I've always been the fastest person I know. I'd challenge anybody in the wrestling business to a foot race. I'm pretty sure I'd smoke them.
That's what's up, man.
But just getting back on track. And my parents were super supportive. My father would come pick me up from all my wrestling practices. My mother's actually attended more wrestling events than my father has. He came to a handful of them, but my father was pretty up in age even when he had me, and he actually passed away in 2014. But my mother has been tremendously supportive and would come to a lot of my events, always supporting. So I was blessed, and my whole family, everyone, I'm like the celebrity of the family. I'm the star. I'm the one who, is doing something outside the box and succeeding at it. So I've had a lot of support, and in general, like I've not had any negative from my family. I think zero.
Great.
So I've been blessed.
That's awesome to hear, man, because I've heard so many stories where it's like the complete opposite. Like someone says they want to go into wrestling and it's like to tear them from that. Like, no, go to college, do this, do that. And it's like, if that's their dream, like, come on, like let them follow their dream. I've been blessed because my mom and my dad always was like, go follow your dreams too. But I hear stories where it's like, damn, like I don't know how you can even like tell your kids, no, you're going to be doing what I want you to do. But yeah.
Well, it's like I said, I brought up baseball because I was put into baseball. I didn't have a passion for it, but I was really, really good. But all the other sports, I chose to do it. I chose to play hockey. I chose to do track and field. I chose to, go into boxing. I never actually boxed, had a fight or an amateur fight. But I did it because I was advised to do that to improve my wrestling. So, I chose to do the things that I want to do. I'm the kind of person, I see something and I say, someone else has been able to do this. Probably somebody who is less talented, less intelligent, in less of a position than me. And if they're able to succeed, I can succeed. You just got to put your mind to it and do it. And that's what it's like. If there's something I want in the world, I just go for it. And I'm thankful that I have parents that, supported me and didn't stand in my way and didn't say, we want you to do this. It's like, my father was in the military. He was in the Air Force, served, believe it or not, it's going to sound preposterous given my age, but he actually served during World War II. And you can fact check that and everything checks out. He was, never asked me to go into the military, never asked me to go into the service. This was, my life was my life to live. My mother, she worked in banks and accounting. She did kind of tell me she wanted me to go down that path, and she kind of influenced my sister to go down that, which she still does that to this day. Believe it or not, she actually is one of Bret Hart's bankers out in Calgary here in Canada. Funny little sidebar for
that's awesome.
Wrestling. But no, I was always allowed to choose my own destiny. And no matter how long it took me to get to a point where, they could feel proud of me, of which, I'm getting to that point now where I'm on the cusp of huge success. They supported me through the good times and the bad.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Since we're talking about the cusp of the huge success, you've held many titles all over Canada, everywhere. I actually saw a picture. You had like 6 titles at one time.
Well, I currently hold 9. I hold 7. I hold 7 individual championships. 9. No awesome. Word of a lie. 7 individual championships, 2 tag team championships. Of the individual championships that I hold 5 from here in Quebec, in this province. I hold 1 that I recently won in Saskatchewan, which is another province, and I hold one in Ontario, which I won in Ontario, but it's a Canadian title. So across multiple provinces, multiple championships, singles and tag, which just speaks to who Jeremy Prophet is, because I'm not a one-trick pony. You know, I'm like a Swiss Army knife when it comes to all the things I can do. I can do anything. You need a guy to cut a great promo, put this mic in front of me. You need a guy to go out there, wrestle an hour-long main event. I'm the guy. You need a guy who can go toe-to-toe with the best. You need a guy who can go toe-to-toe with a guy who's maybe past his prime and still wants to get a bit of shine. Look, I can do it all. I'm really, you want to know who Jeremy Prophet is? For you people out there watching who've never seen me, I am the guy who can do it all. Not just a pretty face, not just a great promo, not just a great in-ring talent. The guy who can literally do it all, go toe-to-toe with everybody and make them have to keep up with me.
Nah, yeah, and I've seen it. I've seen you have matches against guys like Scott Steiner. How is that actually? Like, how is it to share a ring with someone that like you maybe grew up watching?
You got to, for me, I've always known that I was going to get those opportunities. So I kind of try to see the future and still live for the present at the same time. So going in there with somebody like Scott Steiner, who's a veteran with much more experience, we're in the ring together. We're in a main event that people paid to see. So he's my peer now. It's not like I'm going in there like a wide-eyed child on Christmas morning seeing Santa Claus. It's, it's a case of we're equals. We're in there. We're sharing this ring. I'm going to take the fight to you. It's something that I see a lot, and it kind of rubs me the wrong way in wrestling, because you see so many guys, they'll go in there and they're against a guy who's maybe a few pegs down the totem pole. And, it's easy to go in there and take liberties and look vicious against them. But then you're up there against the main eventer, and suddenly you're kind of like a little cat that's been declawed and defanged. So to me, it's important that you got to look just as aggressive and imposing when you're in there against somebody higher up. In fact, you got to look more like that. That's the kind of person you got to, look like you're ready to just, spit right in their face, slap the taste out of their mouth, just headbutt them right between their eyes, that kind of thing, to show that you're the star. You're the one that the attention needs to be on. You can't be going in there and being timid and all that, or, you're going to get eaten alive. So I've prepared for that. Maybe it's something that comes from other sports, but I mean, like, look, if I was, Mike, if you don't mind me asking you, where are you from? Which area? New York City. All right, nice. Yeah. Well, what's your favorite sport? What are you a fan of?
Baseball.
Baseball. Okay, so New York City. So I'm kind of like the guy. Like if I'm playing and I'm against Aaron Judge, I'm thinking, okay, if I'm pitching, I want to nail this guy upside the head with my fastball. I want to put him out of the game. I want to make a statement. You got to go after the best guy, and you gotta put him in his place. That's the way Michael Jordan was in basketball. He said he's got to find who's the best guy on the team, and he's got to show he can give him a run for his money, because he wants that top spot. He wants the big money. I'm just a very competitive guy. I'm very bloodthirsty. I'm very, to me, I say I have yet to meet my equal in wrestling. I don't know who my equal is. I watch a lot of wrestling.
I was just watching that interview.
Yeah. I don't see somebody who has the physique that I do, who the good looks, the speaking ability, the dynamic speaking ability that can be serious, that can be entertaining, can make people laugh, can make people feel something, and the in-ring ability. Who can be fast and athletic, who can be technical, who can be hard hitting, who can take as much as he can give. I've not met this person. I've not seen this person. So if someone's going to say, oh, this Jeremy Prophet, he talks a lot, how good is he? It's like, okay, get in the ring, find out how good I am. Prove to me you can make me not back up one iota of what I say, because my talk never goes beyond what I'm capable of doing. And I think that's the authenticity that I give people, in that, okay, this Jeremy Prophet's confident, but then you see me and you're like, okay, he can back up everything he says. So, it's a thing that comes from a place of not having any insecurity. I have no insecurity. I think professional wrestlers, a lot of them are insecure. I don't got that.
You're a man's man?
Yeah.
Man's man.
That's what it is, man. I'm not insecure. I know that you put me out there, I can main event any show. I'll go out there. There's no pressure on me. I'm not worried about anything. You got guys who are worried. They're scared to talk trash, because they're worried that, oh, they're going to botch a spot. They're going to fall off the rope. Something could go wrong and people are going to throw it back against them. Not this guy. Not this guy. I will talk trash till the cows come home, because I know that when the bright lights are on and it counts, I will deliver 100% of the time.
Yeah. And you talk about delivering, and you just delivered really huge on the first season of Wrestle Academy. You want to talk a little bit about that? Like, we're all very proud of you, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was an opportunity I've been waiting for. You guys might remember, like, back when we started podcasting, all of us together, part of the wonderful group of the League of Extraordinary Podcasters. Shout out to Circle of Debate and Ivan. I was all about, being able to show the world exactly how good I am, and show that Canadians are some of the best wrestlers in the world because we're your neighbors. I'm not that far from you guys. We're about 5 hours apart from each other.
Yeah.
You know, we know what it's all about here, you know, on the Atlantic. And unfortunately, Canadians aren't allowed to go wrestle in the United States. You need a work visa, which, you know, you're looking at over 10 grand, and only certain companies, pretty much only 3 of them at this point, AEW, WWE, and Impact, can actually sign to sponsor you, is the only legal way that you can do it. So it's something that pisses me off because, like, we have tons of great wrestlers here in Canada who can't legally go and perform in the biggest independents, which are all in the United States of America. So I know that, you know, for us, we got to work twice as hard with half as many, and I'm being generous in saying half as many. It's pretty much like next to no eyes on us and exposure. So when Jacques came along, Jacques Rougeau, the Mountie, with Wrestling Academy, Jacques, who happened to also be my trainer, but I've been estranged from him for the past 15 years. He came up with this concept. I said right away, this is what we need. You know what? I'm going to be the first guy to sign up for this. I was the first one to sign up. I was the last man standing, and I won. And it was, you know, to me, it was academic. I said, I know I'm going to win. People are like, well, how can you be so confident? You never know. What if something goes wrong? I'm like, no, nothing's going to go wrong. I know I'm going to win. And people talk about being confident like it's a bad thing. They don't understand that confidence and arrogance are 2 different things. Arrogance is when you're oblivious to the things that you're lacking and you try to put on this front to compensate. Yeah. I don't try to compensate for anything. I am who I am. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm unapologetic about who I am and the things that I believe in. But that's what makes me me, is that I believe in myself more than anything. And if you think I'm wrong, hey, you're more than welcome to step in the ring, prove me wrong. But I've yet to see that happen. So I knew with Wrestling Academy, I was going to win. This is going to be my chance to get my name out there and to go and show that, hey, just because some person, you see him on TV every week, that don't make him better than me. You know, I'm not, you know, if I can borrow a phrase from the lovely Lacey Evans, you know, I'm not trying to say I'm better than anyone, but them just being on TV and being seen by millions more people, that sure as hell don't make them better than me. So that's what I intend on proving. And now finally some eyes are turning towards me, getting the opportunity to be on AEW in Toronto on October the 12th and 13th for Dynamite and Rampage, and getting to go down to the Nightmare Factory for 3 months. And I'm going to give it hell. I'm going to give it everything I got because I want to get that contract. I'm not just doing it for me. I'm doing it for all of Canada. I'm doing it so you can show that, so I can show that you don't have to go and work illegally in the United States. No disrespect to all of y'all, but to show that you don't have to go and work illegally. You can work legally in your country and get picked up by a major company. And I'm the living proof of concept, if that happens, that Wrestling Academy, this is the right way to do it, and that we don't have to run those risks. We just need to get the scouting to be at the same level as professional sports, as Major League Baseball, as the NFL, as the NHL, and scouting people out of Canada, because we got talents here. Don't think I'm the only one. I mean, there are tons of guys, you know, out there that are extremely talented. Just, you know, you don't hear about them because they don't want to run the risk of getting banned or getting put in jail for going to do the sport that they love. So I'm trying to change the culture, change the game. And yeah, I might have the weight of the country on my shoulders, but I got some pretty big shoulders to be able to bore the brunt of that weight. And I ain't going to back down from anything. So, you know, I got something that I'm fighting for, that I believe in. And I think that when I have something I believe in, it's a fight to the death.
Most definitely. I love it, man. I love it.
I guess we're gonna put you in the hot seat, man.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Because you as we can see, your schedule is very, very, very busy.
Yes.
So we're gonna put you in the hot seat. We're gonna start slow, and then we're gonna end up hot. You already know how that goes, Mr. Jeremy Prophet, man.
It heats up pretty fast.
Sure.
It's gonna heat up pretty fast, though. So we already got through one. What was your first memory of wrestling? What's your spirit animal? What is your spirit animal?
The lion. Without a doubt, the lion, the king of the jungle. You know, the lion might not be the biggest. You know, the lion is smaller than an elephant, not even the biggest cat in the jungle, but the lion is the king of the jungle because of what the lion exudes, because the lion will tear you to shreds if you mess with it. And that's me. I am a lion through and through, king of the jungle. God save the queen, but the king is alive.
Love it. All right. Who is the most relatable TV character?
Are we talking just wrestling, or we're talking all of television?
All of television.
That's an interesting one. I got to take a moment to think there with that one.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Got to think of the shows that I watch, because I don't watch too much TV. Mostly stuff I can find on streaming services. Most relatable.
Probably the Punisher.
It's funny you say Punisher, because I was actually going to say the same actor, but his Shane character in Walking Dead. Yeah, because even though Shane kind of becomes a heel, Shane's the guy when push comes to shove that he's going to get the job done. He's going to get his hands dirty. Might have to kill a few people if he has to, but he's going to do what he has to do to make things happen. So it's very interesting you say Punisher, and it was one of the ones I was thinking of, but more Shane in the early seasons of Walking Dead.
That's awesome.
Definitely. All right.
Jon Bernthal, great actor.
Yeah, definitely.
Not to slow you down, but I'll go on a bit of a tangent here about Jon Bernthal, because I've often said I look at guys in wrestling, and a lot of guys in wrestling, they can be big, imposing guys and still come across soft. And you look at a guy like Jon Bernthal, who's smaller than me, he's shorter than me, smaller than me, and comes across as one vicious, sadistic bastard. And it's like, to me, I feel there are guys on TV who are portrayed as killers who would not mess with that guy because he's such a good actor and is so good at portraying that. And I feel that's something that we have in common. Like with me, I'm not the biggest guy, but I bring the big fight. I'm a vicious predator when I'm in there. And it's something that, look, sometimes wrestling's a little too cute, a little too friendly. But me, I like bringing the aggressiveness, the viciousness. So people can watch what I do and be like, okay, this guy, I wouldn't mess with him. I might be bigger than him, but I wouldn't mess with him.
I like that.
All right.
Definitely need it.
Name something. Name a secret talent, matter of fact, that nobody knows about. Jeremy Prophet.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever mentioned it in an interview, but one of the things I'm actually pretty talented at is with music, is sound engineering, like making beats and editing tracks and that kind of thing. Something that I was self-taught. I've been doing it since pretty much the dawn of the internet. And it's something I've always had in my back pocket. But even a lot of my entrance songs and other people, like, I'll be able to put edits on that, do different mixes. I'm a pretty good sound engineer. And it's funny that I said that wrestler is the only thing I've ever wanted to do. But the more I start to learn about a lot of guys, like a lot of the DJs, like the Dr. Dre's and like the Grandmaster Flash, and a lot of the guys who were the pioneers of hip hop and turntables and those kinds of things, and sound engineers, guys like Timberland, Kanye West. Like it's such a world that's so amazing to me that I'm like, I could have done that same kind of thing. Like if that was like a course that was offered in school, like I probably would have done my education in that instead of in journalism, because I just love sound engineering and I'm pretty good at it.
That's pretty dope.
I want to hear your beats for sure, because
that's fact.
I'm a rapper. I would love to work
both.
with you.
Both of us.
Cool. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, maybe we can collaborate down the line.
That'll be great, man. All right. So next question. Hardest move you ever pulled off?
Hit a Phoenix splash or two. Mostly now sticking to the 450 because it's one of those things where the degree of difficulty, it still gets you the same reaction. So a lot of guys don't realize that. They do stuff that's complicated and convoluted, and they have to put a lot of effort into it to get the same reaction. And, when it comes down to working in a ring, the idea of working is to get the most reaction with the least amount of effort. So like, 450s, I can hit them in my sleep. That's a direct quote from Matt Stryker when he saw me wrestle in the Maritimes. And it's true. I can hit it with relative ease. But yeah, I used to do a Phoenix splash from time to time. Who knows? Maybe if called upon, I might bring it back. Yeah.
That's dope. All right. If you had to pick one to be a manager, if you had to manage one of these people in a wrestling match, who would it be? Michael Jackson or Prince?
Oh, Michael Jackson, easily. Don't even have to think about that one. MJ all the way. Love Michael.
You'd manage Michael Jackson in a versus Prince match.
Yeah, that's right. We can have me managing Michael Jackson, and we can have Prince Iakea managing Prince, or the artist formerly known as Prince.
That's dope. What you got for Nero?
All right, so this is a two-parter. Canadian dream opponents from the past generation and from the current generation.
Yeah, from the past generation, it's Chris Jericho, hands down. That one, and it will happen. This is the manifesting of the destiny. It will happen. This will be one of a collage of clips where I talk about Jericho, and the match eventually comes to fruition. I've called him out on all these shows. He gave me his award in 2021. So, he leads the Jericho Appreciation Society, but he showed me quite a bit of appreciation with that award. And I'm very appreciative for having gotten it because it shows that he's got a great eye for talent. I think before he hangs it up, he and I will definitely need to have a match in that ring. Especially because he's been someone who gave me such great advice early on in my career. And I think it just brings everything full circle for that to happen. So, yeah, Jericho, number one dream opponent, Canadian dream opponent, or just dream opponent in general. So that's an easy one.
That's dope.
Of the current generation, I would have to say Kenny Omega. Simply because I think that that's a match that would be an outstanding match. And I think the story behind it tells itself. Because I've always said that, Kenny Omega, he's an EVP in AEW. So maybe we'll be seeing each other, maybe not. Depends when he gets back from Japan there. But I'll be there in October. Maybe we'll cross paths. We have some friends in common. We have people that I've wrestled that have wrestled him. And, I'm sure he's wrestled tons of people that have wrestled me. But I think the story sells itself because Kenny Omega, he's done a lot to help Japanese people get to AEW. But what has he done to help Canadians? And now maybe he has, don't get me wrong. But I think on the surface, that's a story that people could be interested in seeing because I'm all about Canada. I'm all about being that guy who gets to the major company and actually gives back. I'm trying to be the Jackie Robinson for Canada, not just because I'm black. I'm trying to be the Jackie Robinson in the sense of there was a time where you had the Negro leagues in baseball and black people weren't allowed to play in the major leagues. And they would do these little cattle calls. They'd say, oh, we're trying out a bunch of them, but none of them are good enough. And people don't even realize Jackie Robinson is actually the fourth black player to play in Major League Baseball. There's exceptions to the rules. So with my crusade, I'm trying to be like Jackie Robinson to say all these other Canadians that made it, the ones who did it by working illegally on the American independent scene, they didn't stay true to Canada. They didn't make it on their merits in Canada. But also, I want to be proof that, hey, you can wrestle in Canada. You can earn your merits in your country and then make it to the big leagues. And that way, if I can do it, then they will see that tons of other people can do it. And they'll start actually scouting people without them having to run the risk of wrestling illegally on the American independent scene. So that's where Kenny and we differ. I've never met him. I got no personal animus whatsoever towards him. But I think that story could be told on screen and it could be quite a moneymaker.
That'd be fire. That'd be fire. All right. If you could sit front row at any WrestleMania at any time, which would it be?
The next one. And I would cause quite a scene.
I love that answer. I love it.
Who plays Jeremy Prophet in your own biopic?
Probably Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, I think that'd be a good choice right about now. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan. I don't know who else could pull it off.
Maybe you just have to play yourself.
Maybe.
Maybe
Maybe in a few years I might play him. Maybe I might play Wesley Snipes. Maybe I might play. Maybe I might play. I had another one just on the tip of my tongue.
Terrence Howard.
No, Michael Jai White.
Oh, okay.
Great actor. So underrated, man.
Yeah,
so
I do have the same size arms.
Yeah, very, very underrated. He's a hell of a martial artist too.
Yeah, I saw some videos. Yeah,
it definitely is great. All right, what is a music lyric that you live by?
Ironically, there's one that I've been living by lately, and it's a message that I give to a lot of people. I'm actually a personal trainer here when I'm not wrestling. And I see a lot of people go through a lot of struggles, and even, to other wrestlers. Wrestling is a game where sometimes it can be like a hurricane, and you're getting hit with the storm, and then you're in the calm of the storm, but you know that second wave is on its way. I heard a lyric. I don't know the band, but I heard it recently. I heard it within the last month, where, and all your fans can go and they can, Google it, and they'll probably find it and post it in the comments. There's a challenge for all y'all at home. But the lyric was something along the lines of, hey, it's going to be okay. Hey, we're going to laugh at this someday. And I think that that's so true in life, that we go through such turmoil and we feel like the world is crashing down around us, but then we get through it and we look back on it and we're like, oh, hey, remember when we went through this, how tough that was? And, in some of my darkest hours, I keep my cool and I stay mentally strong because I realize that down the line, this is just going to make for a great story. At worst, this makes for a great story. This is going to make for something I can come on a podcast like this and share with you guys and use it to inspire people. So, I'm proud that I stay mentally strong in those moments. And I think it's an important lesson for people to know that, tomorrow comes, this will pass. We're going to be living in the future to this present and looking back at this and saying, hey, this wasn't so bad. We got through it. So, yeah.
I like that a lot.
Definitely.
So keeping it on music, what is the go-to song that gets you pumped up before entering the curtain?
So I don't know about currently, but I know that there was a long stretch of time where at one of the companies I work for, the IWS, I was very good friends with the DJ. And what would get me pumped more than anything was a song called Warriors of the World by a group called Manowar. They're a power metal group. And that song, Warriors of the World, it's just got this like heavy bass line and drums, and it just makes me want to go out there and just like literally, not just like figuratively and literally tear someone's head off. It was the song Warriors of the World by Manowar.
I gotta check that out. Definitely gotta check.
I'm gonna have to check it out too. I'm definitely in. All right. If you could go back in time and punch one historical figure in the face, who would it be?
Too many to name. Too many. That dingus that started the KKK. It could be old Adolf Hitler. It could be so many people. Whoever told Rosa Parks to sit at the back of the bus. Like,
man,
I could go on and on. That the pitcher that hit Jackie Robinson in his first at bat in Major League Baseball. Like, there's just so many people I could think of off the top of my head.
Just to line them up and just straight through.
Just DDT them all.
All of them. More than that.
Word.
What you got for Nero?
I'm trying to see if I have any left. Like,
all right, I got him.
You got another one? Oh, actually, I got one.
I got a bunch. I got a bunch.
All right, cool. Yeah, but I got one. So, has there been any memorable ribs that you have played on somebody or have played on you?
I'm not a ribber. I'm not, which is funny because I was when I was in high school, like before wrestling. I very much was. But I don't know, like when it comes to wrestling, and I'm not saying this to be politically correct, but it's like I love professional wrestling, and I would not want to do anything that would dampen anyone else's love for the sport just for a few cheap laughs. Like, I'm a serious dude when I'm in a locker room. I'm business. I arrive at, and it's what rubs some people the wrong way because, look, I get it. Like, everyone's doing this thing that they love, and it's this big, sitting around roasting marshmallows, singing Kumbaya kind of thing. But to me, it's business first. Like, we do the match, we do the show. Then after, everything's fine. But it's business first when I arrive. So I'm not there smiling. I'm not there to smile and laugh and those kinds of things, goof around, which that's not me anyways. Like, I'm there first and foremost, business. I am being paid. I am a professional wrestler. As great as the wrestler part is, the professional part means a lot more to me. And I got to be a professional every time that I'm in that locker room because that's what people expect of me. Someone is entrusting me. They're paying me. They're giving me a chance to perform as a paid professional. I have to be exactly that. So I don't rib people. My focus first and foremost, I get there. I want to just, get in the ring as quickly as possible, get my opponents, get in the ring and get down to business. And it rubs people the wrong way. Cause I'll be like, no, look, put your merch away. You can deal with that after. We got a match we got to deal with, don't be going and, hitting on this girl or whatever. Look, we got a match that we got to deal with. This is wrestling because, and look, I don't have the luxury of like you guys, Americans, you got this great scene, great exposure. All I really got to try to get some eyes on me is, if I can put out a great quality match, some people can get some good highlights of it, get the word out there, spread the buzz on social media. So, I mean, I'm fighting for my livelihood here. I'm fighting for to be able to make my living doing this. So I take it very seriously. In terms of, ribs being played on me. I've been fortunate. Like nothing comes to mind. I think that people just, I don't come across as the kind of guy they'd want to rib. I think maybe there's a worry that like they'll rib me. I'm going to go and like bite the nose off their face. Like, it's just, I'm business. And I think maybe that's what off-puts people. Like, I can't think of any ribs kind of happening to me.
They think you're all business. That's why nobody can rib you, huh?
In a lot of ways, I kind of am too, because like, I'm not going to allow myself to be disrespected by anybody. Like, I'm not, this kind of stuff. It's like, you're going to try to disrespect me. Okay. But you're going to realize I'm a very bad man very soon. Like, I'm the danger. Like, I don't get bullied. I am the bully. You try to bully me, you're going to bite off more than you can chew. So that's just, how I am. People want to test my mettle. That's fine. You can test my mettle. I got 2 fists, 2 feet, 2 elbows, and a very strong head. I know how to use them. But I don't think that ribs and all that, that's not my thing. That's just why, we're blessed to have professional wrestling. Why dampen someone's love of that? Why, take away from this thing that we're doing? We're supposed to be professionals. We're there to give the people their money's worth. So that's just kind of stuff that's noise and distractions. And it's probably why a lot of people don't make it. But as a Canadian, I can't afford to take my eye off the ball and not focus on being the best I can be and getting myself to where I want my career to be.
Most definitely. Before Kofi goes on with his next question,
go ahead.
We have a lot of comments here in the chat.
Go ahead.
We got one from the man himself, Ivan from Circle Debate, the homie. He wants to know if you could give more details of when you won the contest and break down the moment of how you felt when QT Marshall named you as the winner.
Great question. Great question.
Yeah.
I felt vindicated. I felt that it justified everything that I've said, everything that I've done, my entire body of work over the course of 17 years, that someone like QT Marshall, who is entrusted with training the next generation of wrestlers, with picking and choosing talent, would see my ability, with no prejudice, with no one there to influence it, just his decision based on what I look like, what I sound like, and what I do from bell to bell. So it was definitely a great moment. And not to say I was overconfident, but I mean, look, I woke up that morning and I said, look, I'm going to win this. Why? Because I've never met Jeremy Prophet. I've never met another Jeremy Prophet. I've never met another person who can do all these things. So if QT is everything he says he is, I have nothing to worry about, because he will see exactly that. He will see a guy that he has never seen before. No one looks like me. No one talks like me. No one wrestles like me. No one can do all of the things that I do. And it's not to say like I'm the best at this, I'm the best at that. It's that no one can do all of the things that I do as well as me. And I knew he would see that.
Love it.
Yeah. People say like, oh, you had a great poker face when he said, I'm like, no, that was my emotion, because I'm like, I work really hard to be good at this. If you're a 10th Dan black belt in martial arts, you're not going to go in there against a couple of white belts and be like, oh, well, they might get chosen instead of me. It's like, no, if it's objective, if it's unadulterated, untainted, no prejudice involved, I know that I will rise to the occasion against anyone.
Love that.
You got more comments?
Yeah, we actually got another one from Ivan too. What? He wants to know, when you come to the States for the Nightmare Factory, will you be able to take some bookings in the States while you're training?
No, that would be illegal.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy, man. Like,
wow.
That's insane. Like, when you think about like just trying to wrestle in other countries and apply your craft in the United States, like, that's crazy.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Wow.
That's what I'm fighting against. I'd already be on my way to being a Hall of Famer. I'd be a millionaire. I'd be a household name. Children all over the world would have my action figures, my posters on their walls. They would. I'd be a multiple-time world champion. They would be talking about me in the same breath that they talk about the Ric Flairs, the Hulk Hogans of this world. Maybe not the Hulk Hogans of this world, because they talk about them for other reasons. But all that to say, that's where I would be. But being Canadian, we don't have the luxury of doing that. So.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, well, let me jump right back into this real quick. All right, you got 2 names. You got Black Dynamite and you got the Harbinger of Truth.
Yeah.
Which one is number 8 and which one is number 24?
I think that number Black Dynamite probably kind of diluted down the list. Harbinger of Truth would be a lot higher, a lot more contemporary. But I look at my names, it's kind of like Chris Jericho. You can call him Lionheart, you can call him the Painmaker, you can call him the Wizard, you can call him the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla. You can pull out any of those names. These are like my hits. I got many names. I got names most of you guys probably haven't even heard. I was the silver tongue sex symbol at one point. I was Mr. Money on the mic. I was the greatest thing in wrestling. I got names upon names. The Harbinger of Truth is just the latest reiteration. And I speak of reiteration because I'm also the reiterator of reality, in addition to being the Harbinger of Truth. So, regardless of the name, regardless of the shade, regardless of what you see in front of you, it remains Jeremy Prophet, true and true, unfiltered, unadulterated. Not everyone's cup of tea, but definitely a hard pill everyone's going to swallow.
I love that. So my last question would be, what would you want your lasting legacy to be?
Very simple. The man that opened the door for the rest of Canada, who did it his way in utter defiance of everyone who told him that this is not the way to do it, stood up for himself, stood right up against an entire army of people saying that's not how it's done, and said, nope, I'm going to prove all of y'all wrong. I don't care how many of you say I'm wrong. I'm going to show you that you guys are wrong. I am now the zeitgeist. I am now the way to do this. And I want to just change the culture. I want to be that Jackie Robinson for Canadian wrestlers to show them that we can get it done in our own country. It's not us that's the problem. You know, they do these open, WWE did one recently, a couple of years back, where they took a bunch of guys from Canada, tried them out, hired nobody. And the reaction was, oh, you know, I guess we're not good enough. It's like, no, it's not a case that we're not good enough. It's a case of the scouts are not good enough. We're more than good enough. And I'm going to show that. That's going to be my lasting legacy, in addition to a few world championships and also becoming the first Black Canadian world champion. And that's another problem we got to fix, is we got to get more representation for minorities here in Canada. But that's going to be another quest. Right now, legacy is going to be showing that Canadians can get it done in their own country and make it to the biggest stage. I'm going to be living proof of that. Mark my words.
I can't think of a better way to top it off. Damn.
Before we get out of here, advice for anybody who's trying to walk in your footsteps and do what you do. You know what I mean?
Yep. Same advice Chris Jericho gave me. Anyone can do it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be the hardest thing you ever do. But if you're committed to working at it, if you're committed to getting up every day, living 24 hours of that day for professional wrestling and the work that goes along with it, you can make it.
There it is, man. There it is. Well, let everybody give you shout outs and let everybody know where to find you.
Yep. You can find me on Twitter at Jeremy Prophet. That's JeremyProphet. You can find me on Instagram at The Real Jeremy Prophet. You can use the hashtag Jeremy Prophet on YouTube to see all kinds of great content from me, whether it be interviews like here on JOFO in the Ring, which you can also follow, like, subscribe on YouTube, or you can see in-ring action. Great promos, everything that I've spoken about here. You can go on there, you can watch it, and you can see if I'm just, you know, full of shit, or if you can see that I'm the real deal. So go on there, check it out, and I don't doubt that you will be delighted with what you see.
He's the real deal, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Jeremy Prophet, ladies and gentlemen. Remember the name; he's going to be a household name very soon. Mark my words.
Damn right.
Thank you so much again, man. It was a pleasure. Appreciate you having you on. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Looking forward to doing it again.
Most definitely. You're welcome whenever. All right, ladies and gentlemen, go check out Jeremy Prophet. Check out his matches online. And, yeah, look out for him because he's going to be a problem in this business, man. Ladies and gentlemen, for Kofi Wheatston, Dirty Heelz Podcast, Wrestling Delorean Podcast, Circle Debate. Love you guys. Take care. Have a good night.